So my next guest today is Abdul Lateef from Plasma Thermal. Nice to see you again, Abdul.
Nice to see you again as well. Thank you, Trevor.
So let's have a quick recap on some of the technologies that you are offering through Plasma Thermal in the packaging space.
Yes, so overall Plasma Therm is continuing to grow the portfolio of products and technologies in two particular areas, 200 millimeter and below front end.
Yep.
And then the advanced packaging area in general for both 200 and 300. Our technologies for the packaging side includes TSV, liners, plasma dicing,
Yep.
Bonding, debonding. So our portfolio continues to grow specifically in that area as well for packaging.
Right. Okay. So, there's a lot of new technologies coming down the pipe at the moment, and we're dealing with obviously with miniaturization, but more importantly, there's a lot of power applications coming in that have a lot of thermal issues attached to that. Are you coming up against that?
Yes, so we're actually starting to work on certain proprietary film materials specifically for improving thermal conductivity of certain layers. We're working with a couple of research institutes on working on some advanced materials, but generally speaking, the issue of thermal management and wafer thinning, that's where most of the current efforts are going.
Yeah. Of course, one of the other areas that's happening as well is, some of the substrates are changing. I mean, silicon's been the substrate of choice for years, but of course now a lot of it's going on to silicon carbide, and there's even future talks of using gallium nitride and even glass. So have you been doing any work in these areas?
Yes, so of course silicon carbide and power devices in general, whether silicon carbide, silicon, or gallium nitride, traditionally being part of the emerging markets has always been one of our focus areas. So we have a fairly strong footprint in silicon power, silicon carbide power, and of course now moving towards gallium nitride on silicon. With gallium nitride on silicon, it presents very interesting opportunities because then you're able to apply some of the silicon-based processes. So for example, for GaN on silicon, you're able to do plasma dicing, which then narrows the streets significantly, allows you to significantly increase the die yield per wafer,
right,
which can be very beneficial for power devices being as small as they are.
Absolutely. No, as I say, well, it's certainly interesting times. So what's the latest things that you're working on at the moment? What's your
So of course the biggest news at the moment is the fact that this year is our 50th anniversary, so we're celebrating that, thank you. And then in addition to that, we are continuing to work on the plasma dicing. That tends to be a revolutionary technology that we're seeing more and more traction in the market on, that is specifically targeted towards packaging. And then in general, we have introduced an RTP solution that is specific for the silicon carbide market, that is seeing a lot of interest in the market.
Great. So I mean, we're sitting here at Semicon West, Abdul. I mean, and the show is absolutely buzzing this year. Obviously, because of all the money that's starting to flow into the country from overseas, and also as a result of the U.S. CHIPS Act.
Yes.
Are you seeing any benefit from any of this?
Absolutely. I think the biggest benefit is the fact that semiconductor now is a whole household word. Everybody understands what semiconductor is, so that's a great achievement. I think the renewal of interest in the industry and the domestic market is very positive. In addition to that, of course, the money is starting to flow. We're seeing significant activity, not only initiated or instigated by the CHIPS Act, but now because of the state's funding and everything else, we're seeing a significant level of activity already, at least in the academia and R&D sector.
Yeah.
And then we are expecting the rest of the CHIPS Act impact to be actually realized for us as a partner in the supply chain to happen in the very near future. So yes, we're very excited about the CHIPS Act. I think that's a great thing. And of course, similar to that, in Europe, There is a lot of activities as well. So overall, I think we're heading in the right direction as an industry overall from a global perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very slow in rolling out this CHIPS Act funding, but I mean, and one of the criticisms I've been hearing is that the government doesn't seem to have a full grasp on the entire supply chain. It needs to, people don't just buy chips; they buy finished products.
Right.
And so we need all the parts of the supply chain. Are you saying, more activity, more funding coming around the packaging side? I mean, the OSATs and these types of people. Are you seeing or hearing anything along that side?
Yeah, so certainly on the packaging side, there is a lot of separate emphasis, right, on specifically from the CHIPS program to promote advanced packaging. There has been allocation of some funds to specifically OSAT in the U.S. So I think that is something that we're optimistic about. I think that is something that will happen. I think collectively as an industry we have to be patient because it's a big ecosystem.
Yes.
And reconstructing that giant ecosystem here, it's going to take some time.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Well, it's always great to catch up with you, Abdul, and you always seem to be innovating. There's always something new. So thank you for coming in and talking to us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.